magic that is much too powerful for you. The Magic Guardian of the Prodigious is a formidable opponent. You'll never be able to defeat him.
In the history of Miraculous, one character has faced constant cruelty and unfair treatment. The relationship between a Kwami and their wielder needs the building blocks of mutual respect and trust to be successful. Unfortunately, Gabriel Agreste views Nuru as a servant to exploit for personal gain. As Gabriel abuses the powers of the Butterfly Miraculous, Nuru's treatment worsens, with no reprieve in sight. At the end of Season 5, Nuru loses the chance at a happier life when Lila takes his Miraculous. In Season 6, Nuru will be at Lila's mercy as she'll become the new Hawkmoth, foreshadowed in Time Tagger. Lila has proven herself cruel and selfish, and her negativity will only spread to Nuru. After 5 seasons under the control of a malicious villain, Nuru likely isn't keen on helping someone fulfill their goals, evil or otherwise. With a new and inexperienced wielder taking charge, now could be the time for Nuru to bargain for his freedom, or decide to take control of his situation. In today's video, we're considering why and how Nuru could turn evil.
Please, Master, think. It is for good reason that the Prodigious was abandoned in favor of the Miraculous.
The extent of the unfair treatment faced by Nuru begins when Gabriel chooses to wield the Butterfly Miraculous for personal gain. However, the full extent of Nuru's neglectful relationship with Gabriel starts in the episode Sandboy. In this episode of Season 2, the other Kwamis from the Chinese Miracle Box band together in an attempt to contact Nuru during his 3,500th cycle, or birthday. The Kwamis nearly succeed in their plan to reach Nuru and learn his location, but with Hawkmoth transformed, he intercepts their transmission. In the same episode, a scene between Gabriel and Nuru establishes the dynamic of their relationship. At night, Nuru tries to sneak away but gets stopped by Gabriel. Gabriel exhibits a very controlling nature against Adrien throughout the series, and he expresses these same personality traits when it comes to his Kwami. Nuru can't be a few feet away from Gabriel and can't speak with anyone who isn't his wielder. When Nuru protests these rules because of his birthday, Gabriel takes away his ability to speak altogether. The moment Nuru literally loses his mouth speaks volumes. He's a source of power to Gabriel and nothing more. Although Nuru is an ancient and sentient creature with remarkable capabilities, Gabriel expects him to follow orders without complaint. Without the ability to voice his concerns, formulate opinions, or speak with others, Nuru has no choice but to become dependent on Gabriel for companionship, despite how cruel he can be.
From now on, you won't be able to communicate at all.
But, Master...
Nuru expresses concern for Gabriel's well-being throughout the franchise. In Mayura, he appears genuinely worried for Gabriel after he returns from his battle with the heroes, exhausted and devastated. While in Miraculous World Shanghai, Nuru warns Gabriel not to confront the Guardian of the Prodigious. On both accounts, Nuru should want his wielder to experience defeat, because it would bring him closer to his freedom. His sympathy towards Gabriel could mean one of two things: that Nuru continues to be kind-hearted in the face of adversity, or that he's become desensitized to the violence he helps create. If it's the latter option, then Nuru may do anything to prevent himself from falling into the hands of another negligent and cruel wielder. The Kwamis must have a wielder in the first place because their abilities are unstable when used alone. There are numerous examples of this phenomenon throughout the series, and each proves how dangerous Nuru could be if he decided to break off on his own. Plagg is an obvious example of uncontrolled powers. Throughout history, his cataclysm is to blame for monumental disasters. In Style Queen, Master Fu credits Plagg with sinking Atlantis and causing dinosaurs to go extinct. Plagg later collaborates these stories in Miracular, when he and Adrien are struck by a cataclysm, claiming that he would never make fun of the dinosaurs again.
That's what it feels like to get cataclysmed. I promise I'll never call the dinosaurs a bunch of wusses ever again.
Granted, Plagg is notorious for acting first and thinking later. He's a Kwami whose experience made him prioritize self-preservation, even if that meant putting others at risk. He's only started to unlearn this behavior because of his positive relationship with Adrien. If he has had bad wielders in the past, his self-preserving mentality makes sense, as it would for Nuru if he began to exhibit similar traits once he's free from Gabriel's command. However, Nuru has yet to exhibit these traits, so it's better to examine when a more trusting and genuine Kwami uses their powers for the wrong reasons. In the episode Dearest Family, Tiki loses her sense of self when her sweet tooth gets the better of her. She's so hungry for the Dupain Chang's galettes that she threatens her fellow Kwamis and summons a lucky charm. Fueled by her hunger, she creates a giant dessert that nearly crushes Paris. Tiki is a selfless Kwami who would do anything to protect others, so if she can make such a mistake due to desperation, Nuru could likely do the same. However, there are also times when a Kwami must use their abilities out of necessity, like Kalki in Optigami. She uses Voyage numerous times to create portals, safely navigating Ladybug and Alia throughout a building. However, doing so uproots many French monuments, moving them to obscure places. There is always a price to pay when it comes to Kwamis using their powers freely, but Nuru may be desperate enough for his freedom that he'd pay that price and then some.
Tiki, no! A Kwami that uses their power without their owner always causes a disaster!
Although Nuru spends most of the series sheltered inside the Agreste estate, he still knows about Lila and her manipulative personality. Lila and Gabriel ally after she successfully infiltrates his home in Chameleon. Since Nuru must stay within a few feet of Gabriel, he overhears every car-side meeting or phone call between the pair, making him aware of their schemes. He also hears about the falling out between Gabriel and Lila in Emotion, which makes Nuru well aware of how backstabbing, manipulative, and dangerous Lila can be. He may be one of the few characters who knows Lila is up to no good for most of the series, as most of the series' main cast continues believing her lies, until Marinette and Sabrina unveil them in confrontation. After Lila takes the Butterfly Miraculous at the end of Recreation, Nuru will likely be alarmed to find himself with a new wielder, one who is arguably worse than the first. Gabriel's evil deeds occurred because of a desire to save his wife and reconcile his family. He executed his goals poorly, but they could still establish sympathy between the man and his Kwami. In contrast, Lila's true motivations are unknown even to Nuru. Lila's track record with lying likely means she'll try to keep Nuru in the dark about her plans, for as long as possible, returning him to the role of a silent servant rather than a respected teammate. Nuru has two options at this point. He can fall back into the role of an obedient Kwami who helps his wielder inflict harm on Paris, or he could try and break free while Lila's inexperience makes it possible. If Nuru chose to break away from Lila, he could do so by using his powers. There's no telling what could happen if he caused an akumatization without a wielder, but there are a few possibilities.
Ladybug and Cat Noir's Miraculous have been holding me in check for too long. I won't pass up an opportunity to destroy them with this higher power.
For starters, as a Kwami, Nuru may not have a limit to how many people he can akumatize. It may be difficult for him to find numerous people to turn into his personal army now that Paris has become a utopia at the end of Season 5. However, negative emotions are human, and there are bound to be a few people who find flaws in the new and improved Paris. Nuru's guards could not only save him from Lila but also put up a fight against the heroes to prevent him from returning to the Miracle Box. Nuru could also akumatize Lila herself, although doing so wouldn't be easy. When Gabriel turns someone into a villain, he exploits them when they're vulnerable. According to Tiki and Chameleon, someone is only susceptible to akumatization when they believe all hope is lost. Lila has recently experienced many defeats by Marinette and Ladybug alike. She would be sensitive to these feelings of loss and hopelessness at the start of Season 6, when these emotions are fresh. Nuru's ability to transfer powers may be more potent than Hawkmoth's ever was, as at times, he would transform people against their will, as seen in Cat Blanc. If his Kwami can do the same, he could establish a telepathic link with Lila and influence her actions. A final possibility could be Nuru choosing someone to be his new wielder, but not giving them complete control over his Miraculous. If Nuru did escape from Lila, he would need to take the Butterfly Miraculous with him to keep his freedom. If he akumatized someone he trusted and established a telepathic link with them, he could allow them to hold onto his Miraculous without ever using it. In that way, the Butterfly Miraculous could have an individual guardian. This person could be someone that Nuru would handpick and trust, an honor he wouldn't bestow on someone lightly. In every potential scenario where Nuru chooses to use his powers against someone else, he would become an enemy for Ladybug and Cat Noir to defeat. Although the heroes have defended Paris from the man holding Nuru captive, Bug Noir still fails to recover the Butterfly Miraculous at the end of Recreation. It would make complete sense if Nuru hesitated to trust the heroes and took the role of protecting himself into his own hands. Nuru hasn't shown his capacity for evil deeds so far, but Miraculous Ladybug has expressed how far people will go to save themselves when backed into a corner. Nuru has faced cruelty and unjustness for 5 seasons, and if he turns his back on Marinette, Lila, and the other Kwamis, it's justified. Luckily, Ladybug and Cat Noir aren't the type to give up, and they do everything they could to bring Nuru back into the light. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
There are no exceptions.
Master, it's my birthday today. I thought...
You obviously haven't grasped the rules, Nuru.